It's the Misfits.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are still in 2024. We actually made it all the way through. You got to meet Karen last week. We are still introducing people this week. So we kind of hinted that there was a little bit of staff changing going on, schedule changes going on. Brandon is a full-time student. He's also a full-time worker. He's doing a lot. And so he's not able to join us quite as much as he was hoping he would be for at least the next year or so. But that's okay, because we have found other people that want to and that are a part of the Misfits family already in different ways anyway. And so we want to make sure that you know who they are. So you kind of already knew Karen. She was here last week. Today, we are introducing Temeko Holness. He is here as well, and he is here because...
Where's the round of applause?
Yeah, there it is. I couldn't find the button. So, yeah, Temeko is a part of the family that we have through our church over at 3rd Street Community Church. He and I are in a Bible study together on Sunday nights. But he also is one that has a very misfit style journey, and is one that is kind of in the same boat as Brandon, is trying to figure out what ministry looks like coming up here. So, Temeko, welcome.
Thank you.
And let's start off by just sharing a little bit about who you are as far as how... Well, let's just start with who you are.
Yeah, man. Who I am. I'm a laid back dude, man. Temeko is fun-loving, chill, but also outgoing. I feel like I'm a lot of things, man. I think I'm, you know what I'm saying, nice to be around. People seem to enjoy my presence. I'm the type of dude that, you know, can go with the flow, likes to play around, likes to tell a lot of jokes. As you can see from the Bible study, we always laughing.
Which I was gonna say, we're ready for it as well once I find the button, because here we go, we're ready for it. So.
Yeah. We're gonna get some laughs in. But nah, I'm just another guy, man. I'm just another servant of the Lord, eager to get after it, and at the same time, I'm always down to chill, man. So it's a little bit about my personality.
Yeah. So, servant of the Lord, let's go there.
Okay, let's get it.
Give us a little bit about your journey, your call to faith here, as far as how you got to this point.
Yeah, I would say, just looking back, I have been walking with the Lord, or I should say, the Lord's been carrying me. even around when I was like 12 years old. I remember my earliest prayers when I was around 9. And I would always pray and ask God to come into my heart, because I was like scared of hell. My family, we didn't grow up in church. We went to church like once in a while, And every time we went, man, I always heard about hell, and I'm like, bro, this place sounds terrible. I'm like, bro, I do not want to go here. Like, what is going on? Like, everyone else so calm about this. Like, this sounds like awful. So, and I done had some experiences where I could have died. And so I'm like, dang, I could have really been in hell right now. Like, I actually could have died. So I was like, I just got to get saved, man. I got to get saved. And I would pray all the time. I'd lock myself in my mom's room so no one would see me praying. And I would just ask God, please save me. I don't want to go to hell. And I would do this just periodically, sometimes weekly. It was daily. Just the time span of doing that got longer and longer. And then I just started reading my Bible. Just started reading it on my own. Nobody encouraged me. No one discouraged me. This was like a neutral thing. And by the time I was 15, I read the whole New Testament. No Sunday school. No leader, just going. Started to go to this red bus ministry. Um, they came and picked us up every Sunday. I was the only one I was getting to church. They came and got me. Um, went there. It's called Gospel Baptist. Went there until I was like 16. Stopped going just because my life was just revolved around sports. So I was so locked into sports. I was like, yeah, I'm not about to keep coming to church on Sundays. It's like this is like my only day to chill. You know, you got football. You know, I go to football, to basketball, to track, and you know, football season. We got Friday night games. Saturday morning, we got lift and film. And I'm like, I'm chilling on Sunday. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm trying to hang out with my friends. You know, we get into junior, senior years, and uh, people are starting to do certain things. I'm feeling like left out. I'm like, man, I want to do this stuff too, but I always felt this like guilt. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why do I feel like this? And I'm like, bro, it's probably the Holy Spirit I've been reading about. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. It led me to choosing um, like Malone University. As I was getting recruited for football and for track, I was like thinking about, man, like how can I also grow my faith? I wouldn't really talk about it because it wasn't something that like I was confident about, but people were aware just because of how I acted.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like somebody told me how to act. I just started to like change. And people respected it. They were like so respectful of it. Like, yeah, Meek doesn't do that. Tamiko doesn't talk like that. Like my parents respected it so much. Like, you know what I'm saying? They allowed me to, grow in that. Um, and so when I was choosing a college, I was trying to figure out like how could I also go somewhere where I could excel in my sport and I can grow my faith. And I got I got a decent amount of offers, most of them Division II, and Malone finally came up, and I remember on my visit, and I met a whole bunch of guys I thought were just like me, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the place, man. Like I'm gonna really grow here, and I'm gonna play ball here. So I was like, they're gonna help me understand this faith more because I just didn't really have that. Now there were bits and pieces throughout, middle school and high school where, people tried to come into my life and explain certain things, but I was just never consistent enough and my life was never consistent enough to like really get fed from like teachers and pastors and stuff like that. But Malone, when I got to Malone, I was like, this is it. I'm gonna have this little turning point period and I'm gonna shoot off to the stars. Didn't happen. didn't happen, man. And I got to Malone, I fell to the pressures of college life. I was just so eager to just looking back, just fitting in and enjoying what everybody else is enjoying because it looked so fun. And everyone who claimed to be a Christian didn't seem like they were having fun. And I was like, bro, I got this freedom. I don't got no curfew. I can go wherever I want. I was like, oh yeah, like I'm outside. Like that's all I was thinking. Like I'm outside. Like let's go, man. Let's get it. I'm like yes. And the party life got to me. I didn't even drink in high school. Didn't even drink. Started drinking in college. Um, just a big um tumbling up down the hill, you could say. Um, but I did it all in like looking back. I did it all in like moderation, man. Like it wasn't like I was ever plastered out somewhere. It was more like I'm just trying to kick it with everybody because I don't want to be in the dorms by myself. Um, like I said, I always felt like I was like left out. Like everybody, always was around me, but when it was time to kick it, they're like, you gotta come with us now. It's time to come with us. I'm like, dang. Like, am I gonna be alone or am I gonna just, kick it with everybody? And that's what I decided to do. And that was happening up until my the semester of my senior year, spring semester of my senior year. And dude, I had a dream, bro. Crazy dream. 2018. I'll never forget it. Sunday night. I'm already transferred at this point. I transferred Clarion University in PA. And still playing ball. Obviously secular school, like no Christianity is even involved here. But I'm doing like way less reading, way less praying. I'm doing a lot of research leading up to this dream. I'm doing tons of research. All my classes are about theology and philosophy. So I'm learning about like all these like great minds and great thinkers like Socrates and Plato and Augustine, John Locke, Alexander, like all these like great minds through history. All these like these Greek guys and African philosophers and all these minds I'm reading about. I'm learning about other religions. Like I'm learning about Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Like their start, their influence. All these models of like political theories and natural laws and cave analogies and I'm learning about all this stuff in class and I'm doing my own research and I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, I got Snapchat memories of me asking myself, like, dude, like, what is the point to all this? Like deep questions I'm asking myself, like, what is morality? Like, if God is not true, I'm like, where does my morality actually come from? Like, I could go out here and do whatever then. Like, none of it actually matters. Like, I'm asking myself, like, why does it matter so much? Like, I was like, where's that faith I had when I was little? Like, I still feel this, like, pull towards it. I'm like, where is this pull coming from if all the religions in the world sound like they're talking about the same thing? Like, why does it seem like we're all worshiping the same guy? Like if that's the case, then like why do I feel like there's something different going on? I've always felt that pull, even though I was drifted, even though I was doing what I was doing. So I started praying again for months while I was at Clarion, and I was like learning a little bit of Hebrew just because of my classes. I'm like,
what was your major?
Political science. That was it. And the professors at Clarion, man, those great professors over there, like they are teaching students unbiased.
Mm-hmm.
This is just what's recorded. Like this is what we have.
It's in the book.
It's in the book. That's how they're teaching it. Like I remember we had a class about slavery, and they're like, "Yeah, we know what you learned in high school, but like, here's what's actually recorded about that history." And from different perspectives, like this is how the Canadians saw it.
Mm-hmm.
This is how like Europeans saw it. This is how people in like South, if you didn't know, like Brazil had most of the slaves that came from the West Coast. Like most of them actually went to Brazil if you didn't know that. But like they breaking this down, like, and like this is just what's recorded. Christopher Columbus, like I know he sounds like a hero, but like this was actually recorded. This is his journal, actually. Like
this is his words.
Yeah, these are his words. Like he genocided these people. They're just reporting history, how it's read. Like even with other religions, they're like, here's what we know about Islam based off of what's recorded from the Quran and from just history, And so learning all these things, I'm like, all right. They talked about, was one class I had, I forget what it's called, but we always talked about the difference between like polytheism and monotheism. And my professor's like, guys, there's only one culture in the whole world that's recorded to first adopt monotheism. And it's this tribe in Israel. This kingdom of Israel was the only ones to do this. Everyone else had this form of polytheism. Professor's like, no, I'm not saying they're right by any means. But they're the only ones to do this.
It's what's in the book.
It's just what's in the book. And then, you know, thousands of years later, then Islam is doing the same thing. They also adopt monotheism around, you know, like, what is it, 632 AD,
Mm-hmm.
around then. But these groups are the only ones to claim this when they living around cultures that have multiple gods. And so it just like, I don't know, something like clicked in my brain. I was like, okay. I started praying all the time, like, yo, this Yahweh, man, like, okay, man, if you're it, if this, I don't know what I'm feeling. Like, I don't know. I remember how I was praying to you and I felt this change. But if you're this real guy, like, you gotta show me. Like, you gotta show me because I don't understand why you're different than everybody else. I don't understand. Um, I would pray this like months, just like I was praying for like salvation when I was like 9. The same thing again, like same process again. And I was like, you gotta show me. And then like literally like months later, 2018, it was the end of February, and I had this dream, bro. And literally like I'm in this like room. It's all white, and there's this like angelic like figure, right? He's too bright to see his face. He's in these white robes. His everything's glowing. And I'm just like, oh man, you supposed to be Jesus, huh? This is, and I'm just like so skeptical. I'm like, bro, this is weird. Like, why am I not waking up? Like, this feels so real to me. I'm like, bro, what's going on right now? And all he's like, lay down. And I'm like, nah, I'm not laying down. Like, he's like, lay down. I'm like, no, like this is stupid. Like, I need to wake up. And he's like, lay down. This is the third time. He's like, just lay down on your stomach. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna play along. Since I'm not waking up, I'm gonna play along. So he starts reaching his like hand like inside of me. And he like grabs my heart and it's like super painful. And I'm like screaming. And I'm like, I'm in an apartment with my brother. And I'm like, if I yell, my brothers are gonna wake me up. He never woke me up.
So either your brother knows something that we need to know about, or
he didn't hear no screaming because
Yeah.
I literally asked him the next day because he was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, bro, you didn't hear me screaming? He's like, I didn't hear nothing, bro. I'm like, bro, I swear I was screaming. But anyway, he like pulls my heart. He pulls it out of me. And this is like so painful. And I'm like cussing. I'm like, F, would you do this? Da 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 da. I'm like, and he's like, my heart like manifests as myself. And I'm like looking at myself. He's like, that's your sin, man. You gotta go fight your sin. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, that's your sin right there. Like, you have to fight your sin. So I'm thinking I'm supposed to like square up with it. So I'm like, you know, trying to fight it like, But I'm getting beat up. Like, it's beating me up. And we do like a round 1, we do like a round 2. And I'm looking at this, you know, this figure like, yo, are you gonna help me? Like, what's going on? Like, are you seeing me lose? He's like, you're not doing it right. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you're not doing it right. You're not fighting your sin right. And I'm like, bro, then like show me how to do this. I'm like, come on, like let's I'm losing. Like, this is so pointless. I don't want to fight anymore. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna help you. Then we like become like one being. Like he like comes like inside of me, and we're like one person. And he's like, this is how we fight sin. He like reaches out our arm, and the me I was fighting just turned to dust. And I woke up and I was like, bro, like I'm in a pool of sweat. Like my body is like in the physical pain. Like I'm like aching, like you know, like a really bad flu. That's how my body feels. That whole week was terrible. Like, worst week of football practice. Didn't go to class. Like, I was in pain, bro. And from that moment on, I was like, I need to figure out who this like Yahweh guy is, and I'm gonna dedicate the rest of my studies to trying to understand Jesus. And it led me to coming back to Canton because Corey was the only like church folk I knew. That was cool. I didn't know anybody else. And I remember giving him a call, going to his house, telling him the same dream, like, yo, like, what do I do with that? He's like, oh yeah, that's normal. I was like, this is normal. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I told my brother first. My brother was like, bro, that sounds wild. He was like, I believe you though. And I was like, you believe me? He was like, yeah, bro. Like, why would you like make that? I was like, I wouldn't. I just don't want to be like that boy that's went to heaven and he came out and said he lied. Like, I don't want to. I didn't tell anybody. I'm like, bro, people gonna think I'm crazy. They're gonna think I'm a weirdo. And like, remember I told you, like, I don't want to feel like I'm this type of like loner. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really trying to talk about it. People knew something was up because I was like actually in pain the whole week. They're like, bro, something's wrong with you. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm good. Like, but I ended up telling Corey, he's like, yeah, we gotta get you back to Canton. And I was like, how?
Which he probably would be saying that regardless.
Yeah.
Knowing Corey Hunka, the whole time it was just a big trap.
Yeah. His elaborate plan. Yeah.
Yes.
So it actually worked out crazy because I had another year of eligibility of football. I end up my prayer the rest of that semester was, Lord, if you want me to play football for Clarion, like, you gotta give me a scholarship, because when I got to Clarion, I wasn't on scholarship like I was when I was at Malone. And so I even went as far as like I got like MVP of spring ball. So I was like, oh yeah, like I gotta get a scholarship now. Like, they didn't announce me having the best spring ball in front of the whole team.
It does not look good when your top player is not on scholarship.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm like, oh, I definitely earned my spot. And the coach, he's like, nah, not giving you a scholarship. I'm like, what you mean? Like, you just announced I had the great spring. He's like, yeah, but like, you gotta play during the season to earn it. I was like, so you want me to go a whole season first and then you're gonna think about it? I was like, no, sir. I was like, not happening. Not me.
Yeah, that's For if you're not a college athlete or have never been,
break it down for them.
That is not a good way to keep your players in any sense. Like, they're all going to be packing up and leaving. Just coaching advice right there. Do not do that.
Yeah, you got somebody who you announce had a great spring. I didn't announce this. They called it out.
You already handed him an award. Now you need to actually hand him some cash.
Yeah, pay up.
I mean, come on.
But so I didn't play my last year of undergrad. So I finished up at Clarion, and so I had another eligibility because I didn't play. And so I was like, I need to get back to Malone. And I wonder if Coach Thomas will let me come back. He was the head football coach over there at the time. And he's like, I'd love to have you back. Like, help me get back in, enrolled. Started my master's program that 2019 January. Moved to Canton. Lived in that house that used to be across the street from 3rd Street. That yellow house. Uh-huh. Yeah, I was in there. Shout out to D.O. Yeah, dude, great guy. But you know the story, man. They shut the program down.
But the football program is what he's referring to, if you have no idea. Yeah. They shut the football program down 2019.
Shut it down. I was there. I was like, oh my gosh, like, Lord, why would you do this to me? I thought you wanted me to play ball. I'm like, Lord, I just want to play ball. Like, I may have a shot to go pro. You know, nothing was guaranteed. Nothing was actually like in the works, but I had enough talent to possibly get a shot. But that didn't end up working out. But I was still dedicated to like learning about, you know, like church, learning about Jesus, walking this out. So I was at the Martin like every day. Like, I lived there. Monday to Sunday, I was in there. For like 3 months straight. Got an injury. It's pretty bad. Had to go to my mom's for a little bit just to like get nursed up. Came back again, obviously, because I still, you know, I moved there. Once I was cool again, could take care of myself, came back summertime, had this like leadership program that we went through like River Tree. Mm-hmm. Great program, man. It definitely gave me some more insight on like church, how it's organized, the collaboration between, you know, different bodies, the denominations, because this was in the language that we talked about in college. Like, they don't care about you know, they're not worried about none of that. They're just teaching it so objectively, You know, like, here's the Christian narrative. Like, you know, they're not really saying like, oh yeah, so this denomination,
this is what it is.
They're not doing that. So that's what I was learning that whole summer of 2019. It was very powerful, very moving, and ended up finishing my master's at Walsh. Tried to play ball again there, got hurt again. Like, and so I was like, Lord does not want me to play football. Like, he is like, he is not letting me do this. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what is it? Like, why are you not letting me do this? In hindsight, man, this wasn't part of the plan. Or part of his plan. It was part of my plan for sure. But it wasn't in his plan. And as I'm walking, as I'm studying, I'm learning like Hebrew, I'm learning Greek. I'm learning about church history, like, and I'm doing this stuff on my own because it's just not talked about in like churches. It's not talked about in Bible studies. And you honestly, man, like the curiosity of it isn't like well received.
Right.
So like,
right.
Every time I bring stuff up, like all the leaders that were, you know, around me were like, just don't worry about that, man. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I want to know. Like I think this is important for me to know, like, how my faith has culminated through other people over time. Like, I want to know, like, the Bible didn't just end in Acts, and now we just skipped over to now. Like, there's definitely a process here.
And we just pull out the stuff of Paul's writings when we need it.
Yeah, like, there's no way, like, I need to know what this early church was doing, you know, after, or I should say during this persecution, after their persecution. Like, I want to know what was going on, like the real ecclesia, like, what were they doing? Where were they, you know, traveling to escape persecution? Like, what were their routes? Like, where did they settle? Because they were moving around a lot, you know, like all you hear about, well, all that's recorded mainly is, you know, the adoption of the faith from, you know, the Roman government. And then that's where the faith kind of like takes its recorded route through this like Roman doctrine. I'm like, bro, but I understand, like, I'm not gonna even question their faith or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They fruits tell a lot, but we're not gonna get there right now.
Yeah. We've got other episodes we can do that, yes.
But I'm like so eager to like learn about, like, you know, what were they doing? And I'm like, why am I getting all this pushback? Like, what's going on? So I just, you know, the best I could by going to libraries, checking like peer-reviewed sources. There's a lot of books that, like, you know, online PDFs that highlight or, you know, draw as much as research as, you know, they could about, you know, how the church moved, how the church was growing, even during these persecuted times.
Right.
And this was like my like kind of like journey of like learning about the faith. And through that, we got to this point where we were here right now. I just kept doing that.
And that's part of why, if you haven't been able to figure it out from the conversation, why Temeko was here is because of the fact that, you know, he's talking about the fact that and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that the thing that was missing outside of Corey Hunka and the Martin Center was just discipleship.
Yeah.
Because you had the desire, you had the knowledge, but nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do.
And so this is where, you know, you're coming in with us now, is this very, very thing of what do I do with all this knowledge? Because I'm sure everybody is shocked to know that most of the time in Bible study settings, I'm the other one that is like, well, this is what we're dealing with here. And everyone's like, but we don't need to worry about that, do we?
Exactly.
You know, and
sick of that narrative.
Right. And so that even when and unfortunately even Bible studies that I've taught, that's been the response to me. But part of why we are doing what we are doing within the Misfits setting is because of the fact that not having the knowledge, not having the discipleship aspect to the knowledge is what has led us to the point that we are right now within American church history.
Yeah.
You are in a weird position because, like you said, your degree was in political science.
Yep.
You are an educator.
Yeah.
But you're a theologian.
People call me that.
You are. But you don't. You're kind of in this middle ground area where you're trying to figure out what that actually means in the real world.
Yeah.
Education versus theology, because just like so my background at Malone was that I was the only theology student within the athletic department.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this weird dilemma that was forced where outside of a couple of track people, the idea was that if you were in athletics, you could not be a part of the theology. And if you were in theology, you could not be a part of the athletics.
So weird.
But it's the same dynamic that you're finding now.
Yeah.
In terms of the fact that what we have within a lot of evangelicalism is that either you are in education or you are in theology. And unless you are a high paid professor, none of those things should actually mix.
Yeah.
So
which doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense because you can't have the theology without the education. Most of the education that we have is coming out of theologians of the Middle Ages. But
anyways, I'm not gonna go there.
If you really want to find out about that, go back episode. I think it's like maybe episode 40 with Dr. Beth Allison Barr, where we talked about all of that.
Yeah.
But how are you right now trying to navigate this sort of inner turmoil, or not even inner turmoil? It's external turmoil as far as where you go. where do you want to end up?
Yeah.
With both of these poles, where are you hoping to end up?
Honestly, I it's definitely a part of what I've been called to, and God calls people to people, not positions. And it's very evident in my walk, looking back, that He has called me to students, and students of all ages. It can from middle school to college. And so this like passion for education is like super strong in me. And I personally hope, which I don't necessarily want to do, but I do hope that I can get my doctorate. I think that it's possibly my next step in this. I got my master's right now, but thinking about getting my doctorate pretty strongly because of those reasons. Because I just don't think that theology is separate from education. They're definitely intertwined. And we just, like you said earlier, like we see it throughout history. Not even gonna go there right now. But I believe that like my giftings are so brightly seen through my ability to teach and educate. And that's what I do on Malone's campus, even though I'm not a professor. I could be an adjacent professor. But in my role right now as a resident director, like that's what I'm doing. I'm just educating students on, what they haven't been educated on. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just, we just don't have like curriculum like that. and so I'm like, yeah, man, like here's the blanks that you just haven't talked about. Just because they're just not highlighted. And I guess it's fine. But it just leaves so much like space when it comes to your faith. There's no like background to it. There's no it's it just feels like gaps are missing, and then apologetics just get so much harder. So then it's like difficult for you to have like dialogue with anybody, for like respectfully and lovingly and gently.
Well, and the apologetics field
Yeah,
is so flooded now. And it's flooded with a lot of people that don't actually have even a theological base to the apologetics.
nope.
Which is another conversation we'll have at some point. You know, that but part of and so this is part of why you're here now with me sitting here, is that this is part of what we're hoping to be able to do within the Bible study portions of the stuff we've been doing with Misfits. So if you don't know, on Patreon, if you join at any level, you're able to get access to these different weekly Bible study type things that we're doing. Now, there's currently one 9-week series on Galatians. Maybe it's 10 weeks. Math. If you're good at math, you're going to be we're going to be turning to you a lot, because Brandon and I have no idea. So, 9-week, 10-week series on Galatians.
Not answering that question.
Yeah. we're and so you can join any level on Patreon that you join gets you access to those things. Part of what we're hoping to do is that with Temeko's help, we're going to be able to start expanding out some of the Bible studies a little bit more. Largely because of the fact that, you just heard exactly what he is looking to do, is to create this type of curriculum, to create these types of settings to where we can have the theology discussion.
Yeah.
From a place of, this is what it actually says.
Yeah. With excellence.
With quality. With a Christocentric theology, with a discipleship heart.
Yes.
So that you're able to actually take what you're getting here and apply it in other places in your life.
Yes. That like supported evidence, quality, and excellence is like so crucial. It almost like feels like, I don't want to say feels, what I have been seeing in like a higher education realm is there's always this like excellence and such strong support for evidence for almost every other area.
Right.
And I keep thinking to myself, like, do historians not like, they don't ever record like the importance of like just faith in general throughout history has been like such a key part of society.
Well, and it's not even that historians don't record it, because we have historians.
It's written down.
We have historians that will
excuse me for saying that. Yeah, it's written down.
It's not necessarily taught as important,
and it's written down a lot. Like it's a big portion of history that's in every culture is documented, but it's just like glanced over. Like, we're just gonna move to the math. I'm like, that's great. I'm glad. Like,
which again is part of why you're here, is because, like we've said multiple times, we glance over the math and get back to the theology and the history. But part of what you're talking about there is what, again, we'll link in the show notes. If you haven't, go back, listen to the episode with Beth Allison Barr where she rips into the anti-intellectualism of Christianity in general. But the focus in a history setting is just on, what did faith do?
Right.
The focus on the theology setting is typically what did they believe and why?
Yeah.
But part of what you and I want to do is say, this is what their faith did in the world. Yeah. This is what led their faith to this point. So what does that actually mean when we bring them together?
Right.
And this is where, the Cold War theology stuff comes in. This is what we've been doing within a Misfit setting for a long time. Brandon and I do this all the time. Temeko is going to be able to do this as well. That's part of why he's here. is this idea of being able to look at what Scripture says.
Yeah.
And how, when it is applied, the impact that it actually will have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you also have a new project coming up yourself. You want to share anything about that?
Yeah. So I got a couple things coming up, but let's just talk about the one I was sharing earlier while we were off air. So at Malone University, starting in January, I'll be hosting my own podcast. We're calling it The Journey. And it will feature another round of applause for The Journey that's coming
there
out.
we go.
Yeah. But it will be featuring past athletes, college athletes, high school athletes, influential people in our community. We'll only have 4 episodes for the semester, but those 3 of those 4 are people that one is someone who works with FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and they're just going to give a breakdown about what FCA has been doing for their college and how it's been impactful. Another guest, he'll talk about his battle with sports and his faith. And I haven't picked a third guest yet, but the 4th guest will be a student, and that student will give a chance to share their testimony. And this platform is really for the students at Malone. Like, it'll be a SFO credit, which is like a spiritual formation opportunity, which is kind of clutch. So it'll be like a live audience while we're recording, and it'll be a chill type of vibe. Like we on the couch just having a convo. Like, just like in this room right now, we just having a convo. Just about just being real, authentic, and righteous, honestly. I'm just talking about like life with Jesus, life before Jesus, the struggles and the highs, like in like a 45-minute window. So look out for that, man. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be, I'm excited about it. My students is excited about it. We were just in the room cleaning it up the other day, and they're like, bro, like I want to be on. I'm like, all of y'all can't be on next semester, but in the fall, maybe if we get some more dates approved, maybe we can get something going. So like the excitement is there. This is like a rush right now on campus. And it's just another opportunity to like inspire discipleship, man. Like discipleship is, I don't want to say it's missing because it's not lost.
It's undervalued.
It's undervalued. Thank you. It's so undervalued, and that's what I focus in. Like that's why the education and the teaching is such a passion for me. It's just coming from discipleship, and the lack of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there doesn't have to be a lack. It honestly, it just comes down to like time. And just like we know with the narrative of the Bible, like you don't have to give something up.
I would say intention. It comes down to intentionality, not necessarily time.
Yeah,
it's intentionality.
Intentional about your time. Yeah,
because it doesn't necessarily even take a lot of time.
No,
it's because it's doing this. It's relationship. It's talking.
Yeah.
We're in social media.
Just walking with people.
We're in the age of social media and texting. It doesn't take long to check in with somebody.
Yeah.
It's a matter of...
It would seem like it, though.
Yeah.
And that's why I said...
You know.
But you're right. You're absolutely right. Thanks for that.
Yeah,
like,
shouting back out to Corey Hunka as far as answering phones and things like that. So...
He's going to have to square up with us now. Man.
Oh, no, he knows. He knows. This is not the first time I've brought this up. So, now, the other question I've got for you here...
Yeah, go ahead.
...is... what is it that you actually want to see happen with you coming on with us and being part of the Misfits journey, not just the Malone journey?
Right.
What are you actually hoping to see happen from all of this?
Honestly, bro, like the first thing that was popping into my mind, even when we were discussing this before, I really just want to like grow. Like one thing I've noticed about my walk is a lot of people aren't, I don't want to say a lot of people, but a lot of conversations don't lead me to believe that others are open to being wrong, aren't open to correction, aren't open to the Holy Spirit just revealing himself to us, like again and again, peeling back layers, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of conversations haven't led me to believe that people want that. Or it's like painful for them to, uncover things that may have been learned when they was a kid and they held on to, but it was probably like bad theology. And I want this space to be that here, or like we're open to like peeling back another layer of scripture so the Holy Spirit can just like shine through and people can see that. I'm hoping somebody gets saved just that they come across a clip and, like they're like, oh man, like these dudes are talking so crazy and spicy. Like, I need to figure out what this Jesus dude is talking about. Like, I hope somebody gets saved, man. Praise to God. And hopefully this platform can allow me to be put in a position where, like, yeah, we can't make this curriculum. Like, that is like, it's just on my heart. Like, yeah, I just want to utilize this to the excellence and glory to God. Like, why not? Like, we already here. Like, might as well do it. But that's like the things that's off top of my head that like I want. I guess things will just pop up as we keep moving forward. Like, and I'm gonna bring them up. Like, hey, like, Fox, I'm trying to do this too. Like, let's do this. Like, I'm gonna bring it up. Like, I'm a pretty blunt dude. Like, so far, so like, as more ideas or more passions, the more things that I would like to see. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna bring it up, and we're just gonna keep doing that. Lord willing.
Awesome. So yeah, again, this is Temeko Holness. I almost said Hillness. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know either.
I don't know where that came from. Temeko Holness. He's going to be joining us off and on. He's going to be popping in, popping out. He's also going to be doing the next round of Bible studies with me, which it is. We know what it's going to be on. We just don't know when it's going to be coming out. Ideally, the goal is that we're going to be able to get it out to you guys in March, just like we did last year during our break time. But you never know. So you know how we are with schedules. So if you want to be a part of the Patreon Bible study, again, we're doing. I don't even think I said the book. I just went into the fact I can't schedule right.
Yeah, you did.
We're going to be walking through the book of Daniel, and this is one that I wrote. I initially wrote this curriculum going on 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
A lot has changed in the past 10 years, but the relevancy and the importance behind this book has not. If anything, it has gone up rather than down. So we'll be walking through, it's divided up into two sections. One looking at what we just talked about here, the history, the theology as far as why Daniel matters. And then we're also going to jump into what's the deal with all the craziness in chapters 9 through 12 that gives everybody headaches. So if you want to be a part of that, patreon.com/ministry misfits. Any of the levels get you access to the Bible studies. We're hoping that, like he said, that once we get Daniel done, that Galatians will become available to everybody in the store. But we got to figure out the curriculum side of all of that before we can actually do it. So again, patreon.com/ministry misfits. Also, ideally, assuming that everything is working the way it's supposed to, there's a new website up, ministrymisfits.com. We've updated it due to some new features that were unlocked, as well as the fact that we discovered that the features I had were expiring. So go on ministrymisfits.com, check all that out. You can check out Temeko's profile. You can check out Karen's profile in the Meet the Misfits section, as well as you can still get all the information.
Got a bio on there?
Once you actually give it to me.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming by the time this releases that the
bio's going to be out.
That you finally have given me your homework. So, again, mysterymisfits.com. All the guest portals are still up. All the resourcing, all the Theology 101 stuff is all still there. So go check that out. I believe, assuming that this is working right, we also, the Hitholog network is up and running as well. So you can check out that, all that good stuff. So, Temeko, good, bad. What do you think here? Are you ready to go, or are you ready to leave?
I'm ready to go.
All right, we're ready to go. So we will see you all next week.
The Ministry Misfits podcast is a production of Ministry Misfit Media in association with Overwhelming Victory. Dr. Greg Linville and Andrew Fouts are our executive producers, and Brandon Simmons is associate producer. The Ministry Misfits theme song is written and produced by J.D. Laird and Laird Creative Agency. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us at ministrymisfitmedia@gmail.com or by following @ministrymisfit on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can also visit our website at www.ministrymisfits.com or through bio.link/ministrymisfits. If you would like to support Ministry Misfits, you can become a patron by going to patreon.com/ministrymisfits.